Hey, let's go live. It's James speaking, trainingsites.io again. I did a video a little while ago about I think they call it it's from Google. It's called Opal. It's available only in the States. It's experimental. I'm going to show it to you in a second. The thing, and the reason that I want to show this to you is because this is where I think things are happening in 2026. I did a video a couple minutes ago and posted it on YouTube just about doing natural language prompting. And what I did here is I put 20, actually 100. I'm going to give you 100 examples of how you can use natural language prompting with Opal, which is a mini agent creator, a mini application creator from Google that is free. And basically all I'm gonna do is we'll use some samples. I'm just gonna say, hey, build me a mini app, but I'm gonna do it using natural language prompting. And I put together 100 prompts. It's actually just being finished up here, a version of it. You can see it actually on the screen. It's still generating. After I went back and forth, I did a couple of them. Think you can see, yeah, you can see spinning right. Oh, just finished right now. So I've got 100 of these particular prompts that are put out. And the reason I did this is for me, if you're running a business, one of the things that happens is there's a lot to do. And in fact, if I could just go take a look, if we go to the campus or the trainingsites.io campus, whether it be things that are about getting people engaged, creating classes or events or scheduling Zoom calls, or doing anything about creating content, whether it be social media contests or blog posts or stories or courses or video scripts for YouTube or here. There's just an awful lot to do. And as much as I like doing the content creation part, there's a lot of things that have to be done. And I would just love to hand that off to an AI employee. And for all intents and purposes, that's exactly what Opal is. In this one, it teaches it or treats it kind of, they call it a mini app, um, but it's build, edit, and share mini AI apps using natural language. So I did the video on natural language. I did one earlier about, and again, I'll try and put the links. They're all available on trainingsites.io/join if you haven't already. The link is right there, actually. Again, that is my privately branded campus. That is a community library. All of the content I create is there and it's available for free. I'd love to have you in there. And if you have any comments, of course, you disagree, agree with me, have other insights, put them into the comments here on YouTube. I'd love to hear from you. And as always, like and subscribe, all of that cool stuff. But Opal is build, edit, and share mini apps using natural language. And again, in the previous video I did 15 minutes ago, it was all about we got to talk to AI. So what I did for you is I put together, and we'll just, let's share this one here. Just finished 100 Opal mini app prompts. And these are ones that, just to put together. Let me just see if we'll open one up and save it. And again, I even open this, I just saved it from Gemini 2.5 Pro, which is the one that I'm using right here. It's generating the document, says it can't be reached. So there we go. Okay. So I put 25 to these, 100 of these, and it did 25, for example, here. These ones are on a mini course outline generator. So there's 100 different things here that I can hand off to an agent, my AI employee, and it just gets done. Now, how do I do that? Well, we have to use natural language prompting, and natural language prompting uses that clear framework format that I mentioned earlier, which has a course that's actually being put in directly into here, into one of the courses in trainingsites.io. So if we'll go back to that document that opens up, so here's one here, it's a mini course outline creator. So this is, again, just an agent that's doing one task. So I want you to pay attention, one task. So your starting point for any course, this automates the brainstorming and gives you professional logical structure to build upon. So you may be saying, okay, great, why don't I just do this as a prompt? And you certainly can. However, you're going to see that there's a number of fundamental differences when we start talking about agents. Because of the 100 that I put in here, you have to remember that these are just 100, but I've also put a note on them that you can combine these so that it not only does one task, but it continues to do a number of tasks that might be about a particular part of your business. So I just wanted to show you a couple examples of what happens here. So here's an example. We did the mini course. Let me see if I'll get myself out of the way here if this works a little bit better. Yeah, so this one's example. So we've got course creation and management. Here's the first one. So starting part for any course automates brainstorming. So here's just a basic prompt that doesn't necessarily follow that clear format, but just to give you an example. Create an app called Course Outline Generator. It needs one text input called course topic. The app will act as an expert instructor designer to create a five. So this is an application that you have. So it doesn't mean it's used once. It means that this is your own app. And in fact, it's shareable and saleable. So just think about that for a second. If you create your own app for yourself, you can share it with your customers, your students. You can even sell them. So here's the prompt, oral one, but then I can use one that is generate a comprehensive course outline for new students or absolute beginners. It should use 5 distinct modules, each for the 4 lessons, and delivered as a text document. The goal is to create a professional roadmap. Now here's the part that's all of them, combinable. This output is perfect to input for the lesson script, which is number 6. So we can start combining the natural language ones and explain that and maybe go down to number 6 when it says, I want you to take that output from each individual lessons, act as an engaging teacher and write a 5-minute video script. So we're starting to combine them, but putting it in one app. So these can get to the point where, yeah, you just have as many apps as you need for the tasks that you want to outsource. But as you get comfortable with these, think of it as one employee again, then we're just handing stuff off. Go get it done. I like the way you do the work. We've got an app put together. I spoke to you. You're doing great. This is the way I want it. This is what I don't want to see. This is what I want to see. We've had a couple goes at it. Break a leg. Bundle these ones together. So there's 100 different examples here. So let's just see what we can have and go through. Now what I will do first is I'm just going to show you the ones that I created here on the list are specific to Opal. Now the reason they're specific to Opal is, see where it says build, edit, and share mini apps using natural language? This is Google. So there are, in this one, in this Opal, there are other tools, third-party tools that you can work around this, but this one is free to try if you're in the States. The reason this one I did a separate list is because there are some limitations on the inputs, the generations or the AI stuff that Gemini does in the middle, and the output. So I'll show you those, and then we'll go and actually build one to see what happens. So here's one here. Just trying to find one that I played around with before. Let's see what's in this one. Did I do anything with it? Yeah, so this one here is, again, I'll get myself off the screen here. Well, hopefully, let's see what we got here. I think this one may work. And if it doesn't, I'll go back. No, right monitor. Oh, there we go. Okay, it's working. So here's one here, and I'll see if we can zoom this up a little bit. And you'll notice on the right-hand side, my mini app is called Lead Funnel Creator. Generate a complete lead magnet funnel for your coaching program. So this is an app that I built, and the way that I did it is I gave a natural language prompt in the bottom here. So I gave that prompt and it created the mini app that has these steps. I'm not going to show you this one. I'm just going to show you the limitations. So we go and create one. The user input is what the user of the app provides. The generate part are all the things on the right-hand side that Gemini Flash does. All of these things here is what Gemini do in the blue color, and then the green one is the output, and what it does in this case is it can do a manual layout, a web page with auto layout, save to Google Docs, save to slides, save to sheets. So right now, this can only output to those 5 things. Will that change? Yeah, absolutely. Think of it this way. I know I've seen some where people can output to VO3, which is a video, output to Nano Banana, which is a graphic, output to multiples of these. But just think about this. This is a real simple way for you to just go, I got something, I want to use AI to manipulate it, generate it, do whatever you want, and I want to also have it output. And again, add assets here to even talk about those. if we have information about a course from another agent, those things can be added to each of these particular pieces. So there are limits on that, especially if I go and take a look on the program examples. We'll actually do that when I go and open one up. Uh, if I, on the input side, the limitations I have right now are audio, image, text, and video. So I can provide those things and I can't output it yet. So that's kind of where things are at. I'm going to go back and we'll just try one and you can actually see how it works. And I'm giving you these documents, right? So the 100 that I had here, and we're going to try one or two of them. You can see how they work. I'm giving them to you. Here's my challenge to you. If you're in the States and or you have access to appear to be coming from the United States, go and open the account, play with it. There's no cost to it. It's absolutely free. But get in there and play around and think a little bit bigger than, oh, I have to have this prompt to get this kind of response. Stop outloading stuff, offloading stuff to your agents, to your digital employees. Get it out of your hair, get it off your shoulders, get things where you can train your employee to do what it is that you don't want to do, and then get back to the stuff that you like doing. So I'm going to go back and we'll start one, a fresh one. And again, I don't know how many limits there are on these ones actually, but we'll find out. And there's some here to start at the bottom. So if you haven't seen them, again, this is experimental. If there's some at the bottom, you can kind of see what's going on. I'm doing it more about starting, building, growing an education business, being able to create your personally branded campus, a place to basically sell and share your expertise, build a long-term education business. So those are the ones I've been trying to playing around with here. But on mine, I don't know how the limit is. So on mine, what I'm going to do is we'll just go to the right-hand side here where it says create new. I'm just going to click it and you'll see what happens. So we get the interface that comes up and we have the left-hand side, which is just what we're looking at. Place where we can give natural language prompting. Put it in here, and if we want to dictate it, we can. I'm going to show you the ones that I wrote down, and then the application that we create will show up on the other side. Now, I can't get over how important this is for 2026. Now, it's not as if this is going to go away or they're going to hide it. They're going to improve on it. And when they improve on it, think about all of the things that we normally do now that require specific prompts and multiple tasks. Now we've just got a real clear idea of what we want, some logical steps that in our case, we may not even know need to be done, some examples of what we want, the ability to go back and forth and adapt this and then have some kind of output that we want. So this is all of the stuff that you get really good at, that clear communication, AI communication skill. And all we're going to do is we're going to put it right into this particular piece. Now, I asked for these when I created them. There's the one. This is one that I actually did for Manus, which is another tool. Let me see. There's one here. Okay. Okay, well, let's do this one just for a second because I can. This one is lesson script draft generator. So let's say you're doing courses, you want to be able to have a script for the videos that you're doing in the particular lessons. So in this particular case, I'm stuck. I don't know where to go or what to start, but I want a script to start from. So it takes a single topic and drafts a complete video script, giving you a strong foundation to edit. So I could just go and put this in. Now, in my case, formatted as a Google Doc. So I'm just going to copy that and we'll go and create one here. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to paste it directly here. So I didn't learn a prompt. I basically asked, in my case, Gemini to give me some examples, and I'm going to paste it in. And let's see what happens. So this is going to be pretty cool because I've given it some pretty specific instructions on what I want, but this is actually going to create the mini app for us to actually go and get this done. So let's see what happens. Oh, we've got an app already. Create engaging 5-minute video scripts for each lesson topic. And then if we look at the pieces, I have lesson script, which is the user input. Okay, enter the topic for your videos. Here's the instructions. I can change it lesson topic, but I can also go here and just say, This is where you provide the main idea or topic for the lesson you're creating. So I've basically updated this lesson topic there. If I look on the advanced settings, you can see the input type right now is set to any. So it'll have a space for me, but it could request some text, audio, image, upload file, all sorts of stuff. So let's just see what happens on that first one. The second one is generate a video script. In our case, it's going to say, I want AI to generate the script. And I have a couple choices. Remember, it's Google, but I have Gemini Flash, Pro, and then images, VO. These are all of the ones, remember I said you could actually have it generate those ones. It can only be outputted for particular ones, but I can use these to start creating content that goes into a document, which is really cool. And then I can play around and actually put the prompt in. Now it's created a prompt, but it doesn't limit me to that. If I am just basically talking and saying, hey, I want to be able to change this, or I want to be able to use this suggest and edit to the prompt, it's actually going to provide me with some ideas where I can have some conversations with my employee, my digital asset, my digital employee to say, hey, this is the way I want things done, or if we do it that way, will this happen or won't happen, or I don't want it to do that. And if we looked also, I have some tools available to me. I can have it go get a web page, I can have it execute some code, but I can also have it search the web as one of these tasks. Right now, I'm just using a prompt. We'll see in some of the other ones that we can actually have it go out and search the web. For example, lead generation, something that's done for us based on what we put in the natural language prompt at the start. This is just an example. And then save to a Google Doc. It knew that I requested a doc, so it's now available as a doc. Generate the video script. And advanced settings, there's none here other than the fact that there's a Google Doc title. And we're just going to call it lesson script. We're going to give it a name for the script. Okay, so there we go. Let's start. Provided. Now upload your response. I could give it a text document. I could give it, for example, the 100 Opal list that I have. But in my case, let me just see if we can do here. I'm going to copy something. I just made this. So let's go take a look and come up with something from a previous conversation that we had. And again, this is one here. This is one that I did for a while, so it's not a good example. Let me just see if I can have one here. Just trying to figure out a good one. Okay. I'm going to copy this one. Let's just open this just to see what happens in the notes. Again, I'm just looking, playing around here. I'm going to get hopefully a little more information than just a topic so I can get a good demo to show you on this one. And okay. So this one, it's builds, configures, and creates perfect instructions to create custom GPTs. So have we this one there, and the lesson, just going to say, I'm just going to say the lesson covers how to build for your custom GPT. So remember, this is something I'm going to use every time that I need to create lesson scripts and I'm kind of stuck. Again, it's my own mini app that in this case only has one action inside or one AI kind of task that's being done. But I'm going to go and we'll put it in, and you'll see up at the top here what's going to happen is it's generating the video script. You can see that this one is kind of moving in the middle. I gave it the input. It's now doing a little bit of the work here, and you can see that it's actually happening and it's finished. It's gone on to the next step. And we now have a Google Doc. And if I want to, I can download it or share it in the bottom. And hopefully that one will show up here. Let me see if so there's share in the bottom and download the file. And now if I open it up, there we go. So I've now got a full script that I can start with. And again, this is just an example of something that you can do and have it as your own app. And when I looked at this, you have to remember I went and I said, hey, I've got 100 of them here. So example, this is one about practice exercise creator. Create an app that text called skill of practice, actor curriculum designer. So we can go through. Let me just see if we got another one here. Let me just get one that's a little more instructive and see if we can put some more together. Let me just see what happens here. And again, I'm asking you to go and play with these ones. So this is the FAQ page creator for documentation. Maybe it's for a course, right? So we'll give one that's a little more specific. So in this case, it's like proactively answer student question. The tool scans a software documentation page and predicts what a new user might be confused about, generating a ready-to-use FAQ list. So I'm going to give it a URL about an FAQ page or a document from a piece of software. It doesn't have to be, but I'm going to give it, and the output must be in a Google Doc, and it's for common questions. So I'm going to copy that. And again, remember, there's all sorts of neat AI stuff coming in. If I just remember, take a look at this. When I'm highlighting this in the Google Doc, right? This is a Google Doc. If I highlight it, refine. There's Gemini in here in the Google Doc. It generated something in Gemini. I saved it as a Google Doc, and now I've got Gemini asking me if I want to refine it using Gemini to even fine tune it. So I'm just going to copy it in my particular case. We'll do copy and unlimited Opal. I'm going to go back to the script writer. I don't really like that one anymore. So let's delete that one. Not going to use that one. And we're going to go and create a new one again. So I'm going to click create new. And in this one, we're just going to go, and in the bottom again, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to paste that description in, and it should take input and key questions. Okay, so there we go. I'm just going to get rid of this part at the start here, which I copied. So develop an FAQ page. So that's what I'm going to say, and I'm going to prompt it in. And again, the more clear, logical examples that you're able to give, and then be very, very, very specific about what you want as an output, and the output in a Google Doc, and the goal is to proactively stop those things. So I'm going to put it in. Let's see what it comes up with here. Now, this is just an example. Again, we can create these for everything and start including multiple steps here. Now, hopefully this one will give us or create some additional, there we go. Okay, this is part one of, so this is DocuQ&A, and if I make this a little bit bigger, so we can see what is involved here, we've got enter the documentation URL. Now, if I look on this one, remember advanced settings in the bottom right-hand side here. Let me get that out of the way. Remember the input type? It says any, but I asked for a URL. So it can be a URL that's put in as any, and it's going to get the documentation content. So get the web page and get all the information based on the document URL that we gave. Then it's going to predict the question. So AI, Gemini is going to go through, predict what the questions are, and then it's going to create a doc, and then it's going to actually, or pardon me, put it into the document, format it, and then it's going to save it as a doc. So there is another example of how we can take something very specific, if we know what it is that we want or don't want, and actually get particular tasks done. Now, the great part is if you have a basis to start from, if you got anything to start from, put it in, because if you aren't sure, you can always suggest an edit. And again, natural language, what is the edit that you want to make? You don't have to start over again. You can just go, I want you what would be a good question for that? Let me just try this. I'm going to say I want you to create examples for the top 10 FAQ questions and how they apply to my students. So I did the first one. I'm just gonna say, you know what? I need a little bit more here, right? I want the top 10. Create examples of the 10 most frequently asked FAQs and how they apply to my students. Now, my whole idea here is if we're going to use the dictation mode or the conversation mode, have the verbal conversation. That's the whole idea. App has already been generated based on. Okay, can't do that one. Bad example. Maybe have to do it and do it another one. I have done this before. It's experimental, so we'll see what happens. I wish that one would actually work. When to create examples. Maybe we can only do some certain things at right now. My apologies on it when I have made edits in the past. So we do have an example. Go and play around with this. That's all I'm saying is go play around with it. Figure out the things that you do on a regular basis that you don't want to do, that you have multiple steps for, whether it be going to search for something, then going and creating something, and then outputting something. That input AI, output, and having that ability to have assets that are grounding the actual requests that you make is a really, really cool thing. And for 2026, the part that explodes this all is, of course, we can stack these together so that it's not just one idea we're doing, it's multiple things running in parallel or separately doing all of the tasks that we just hate to do and don't like bothering with. So I hope you enjoy this. If you haven't joined the campus yet, my community library is there, trainingsites.io/join. This is just a great place to have some fun with AI and spend more time doing what you like doing, which is teaching people about your expertise and your particular skills. So take care, expect the best. We're back tomorrow with another great video. James at trainingsites.io. Like and subscribe, all of that cool stuff. Take care.